And here we are. Good morning, Crowfall fans and other people who we hope will become Crowfall fans. I'm Val Massey, also known as Pan. I'm the Director of Community here at ArtCraft. And with me is my buddy, the other Val.
Also known as Valkro.
Valkro, who is, you want to tell them what you do here?
I am actually a game designer.
So today, Valkro is going to be talking about the alchemy system.
Yes, I'm actually going to break down what we've got now, what we've got planned, and how we're going to plan that attack. And I'm just going to dive right into it. So we can just swing to my laptop. I'm going to just show you some of our current recipes. It's a little bare bones, and a couple of them have the dev-only tag. That means they're not quite ready for the players. So we're still internalizing them, testing them. Basically, we've got things that are interlinked with cooking and necromancy. Someone on the forums actually asked, are we going to keep doing that? And the answer is yes. I do like the interdependencies within our recipes.
So did Jeffrey Dahmer. Cooking and necromancy? I'm sorry, I just immediately went to the Dahmer place.
You just went to a dark place. It's okay, it happens. I mean, we're pretty bleak. So, and actually one of the forum posts there was a great quote someone mentioned. It was, alchemy was born in the kitchen, and I couldn't agree more. I mean, so we're just going to keep taking that and run with it. A lot of it is just really incorporating how we can further the economy, make it more interesting and interactive within each other, how guild roles happen. So, that's where we're going with it right now. Let me see. So, currently, I don't think we have any healing potions. I think a lot of those potions got overwhelmed superseded by our bandage system, which I think Tom Splayer talked about a little bit last stream. So, we don't need to revisit that too much. But the idea is, with what we're going to do now, we're going to kind of keep the same momentum going with harvesting, cooking, and experimenting with that in alchemy. So, moving on, let's also look at the current skill tree. So I'm going to show you what our skill trees look like tied with crafting and alchemy. And a lot of these are actually based on experimentation points, the success rate, and all that. And that actually ties into a lot of other questions people had when I was reading through our forums post. So the idea is, let's say I'm a crafter, you're a crafter. What would you think about alchemy as a whole?
That I want to learn how to make better potions than yours, because then I will make more money.
That's the exact point. That's why it would be ideal to train the skill tree. I'm going to try and take a nod to Minecraft's brewing and potions. I really liked the way they function with that. In Minecraft, it's actually pretty simple. They've got the basic potion that you create, and then if you add another element to it after you create the potion, you get an even better potion.
After?
Yeah. So
why don't you put it in there when you're making it?
Because it's steps.
Okay. That's not how I cook, but okay.
I know. Not very many other people cook that way. So we're going to be nodding to that. And like I said, a lot of this is going to be tying into supplemental crafting and harvesting as it is. Combat-focused potions are not going to be happening at the moment. Just because, and goes down into the whole, we need to find our meta. Right now, we need to start focusing on balancing where the sweet spots are in combat as it is. We add another layer of that, and then it's all over the board. Who knows how much more broken we can make it. But it's not completely off the table just yet. So that's why I wanted to reiterate and say that this is actually a phase. We're going through phases with alchemy.
Okay, let me pause for a second. You see me looking down. It's because I've got my tablet here in front of me so that I can watch the stream chat. We are nerds. We need numbers. That was from Kraken Smackin'.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Yeah, maybe you might be able to. So what are the actual numerical chances of being able to make something better? I think is what they want to know. Is that what you want to know?
So a lot of that will actually work well with the skill tree. Again, as you train into your skill tree, the ability to actually excel at creating a potion will also go up exponentially. I don't have any numbers off the top of my head, and I'm not gonna lie to you because I don't think that's fair to the players.
And let's point out, I mean, a lot of times we can give you numbers, but those numbers can change. I mean, this is a new system that's being tested, so the dials are always being adjusted. And I think that's important to remember too.
Yeah, and I guess a lot of that just goes back in hand with how much we lean on our players. Let's see, let's talk about some of the ideas I have currently in the works. And this goes back to a little bit to some of the questions that we had on the forums. I would like to see a potion of speed and slowness. So, you know, you want to actually... This actually kind of reminds me a little bit of Onrez, because there was a couple of times when he would tweet how he would go into... go create like zombie surprise and then put it in chests just to see and he would rename it and he would just to see if someone would actually be silly enough to go in there and consume it. So that's the idea. Is I just kind of want to keep encouraging that. If you find a potion in a chest, should you imbibe it? Probably not. Will you though? Yeah, you probably will. So you might either get a really good buff or you might get over encumbered with a potion of slowness. Another thing that I think I really want to address is the hunger suppression. Something that we can kind of stair step. So maybe at the base level, maybe the chicken ticker will stop gnawing so quickly at you. But then as you excel within your alchemy crafting or skill tree, maybe it won't even be an issue at all.
Is that the Jenny Craig
That is
potion?
the Jenny Craig potion.
The Jenny Craig
Metabolite.
Bear Beware has a question. So is there any way at a glance to identify high quality alchemy items?
Ooh.
Like, will they be a different color, I guess, as maybe...
Actually, yeah. So some of the plants that we have now are actually higher quality. So something like mandrake root, it's a blue quality in comparison to the common quality that we have for the other ones.
Okay.
So something like that will actually incorporate towards the recipe, especially if it's a generic subcomponent in the recipe that's like plant matter.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's actually a great question. The next thing I wanted to actually address, and this comes up pretty frequently, is when are we going to be able to create poison food? And I'm kind of hoping soon. Maybe use something like zombie guts to make a... Actually, let me show you something on the laptop that is actually kind of cool and that I would actually kind of like to build on. So we've got this really cool emerald tablet accessory item. And if you go to the current Philosopher's Stone recipe, the base recipe will only have 2 components on it. But if you equip this, you just unlocked 2 more slots. Something like this is something that I'd like to actually continue to build on. And that's why I think this system that Charlie gave us is pretty cool. So, and that kind of ties into more of like the stair-stepping ways. So ideally, we're going to be able to build off of things like this. Just create base recipes with extra components that you can use. Maybe one of the items is a Poisoner's Handbook. Maybe.
And where will people find these extra items?
These are extra items that will actually drop on the War Tribes.
I knew the answer to that one.
You did, didn't
I did,
you?
yeah. War Tribes, which are, where can you find those War Tribes?
Throughout the world. I believe you can find them in God's Reach, and they only go up to rank 6, I believe. So they're not going to have the greatest of loot. And that's only to help you kind of encourage more guild and collaboration gameplay. So you kind of want to go out there and search for the bigger ranks guys and just get the minor disciplines, the extra scroll drops, the other accessories that go with our crafting. So that was actually a great question.
Thank you. I try.
Okay, so what are some of the items we might see as new components for alchemy? One of the things that I wanted to talk about was the golden apple. That came up the last time our cooking stream happened, and some really cool recipes came out, some really cool ideas. So before I wanted to actually start building those, I went to Todd yesterday and asked him, well, what is the golden apple? Why is it a thing? Like, why is it special? He actually, and I'm paraphrasing, and he could probably tell the story a little bit better. Basically, it's just the Tree of Life is an actual entity associated with Gaia. It's like one of her remnants. So the fruit that is bared from the Tree of Life is actually a seed of Gaia. So the idea is, I think he was talking about how in Narnia there was a golden apple, and one of the characters actually took it back, fed it to his mom, and she was healed of all her ailments completely. So that was the whole goal of it. So something like that, I think we could use as a really great alchemy crafting reagent. Something maybe just theory crafting here, like a potion of wealth. I know that a lot of the problems lately is that we used to have gold on all our monsters.
Which people complained about. Like,
yeah.
Why is a pig walking around with 25 gold on it?
Yeah. And then so we tweak the values, and I know, iteration, it's not fun. But the idea is I would kind of like to use that reagent, since it's so rare, to kind of create a potion of wealth. So while you're out there harvesting and killing mobs, you might actually get more gold from it.
Oh. I'm always a fan of more gold.
Yeah. So those are some of the ideas that I'm taking with this. Another thing is, so right now we only have two kinds of flasks. One is an empty one, which is the one on the left. And then one is just the flask of water that we used as a lot of crafting reagents. Mainly in, I believe, jewel crafting and cooking. I would like to actually expand on our flask recipe. That's another thing that we're going to try and stair step. So
okay.
Maybe like a triangular flask might have better properties to it than just a regular flask that you make from stone.
That's cool. Okay, Blazin said, maybe you could have charges on the potion flasks. So like you could drink out of it 3 times instead of just, one and done.
Yeah, no, that seems like a legitimately good idea. I just don't know if that's viable tech-wise, and I'll have to dig into that. I'll make myself a note. And one last thing that I wanted to bring up, or a couple of more things. So right now, these are a couple of recipes that we've got already in game that you can make, like wine, Bon Tippers, which is a crafter's favorite. It gives you like an extra ability to experiment. Mead. I would like to actually incorporate that. Just another nod back to Minecraft, because brewing is kind of a big deal in Minecraft. And actually incorporate it in our game. So maybe that's another aspect that'll interlink with cooking and alchemy together.
Could we have a still, like a make moonshine? Moonshine still? Oh,
that's the
fun.
idea. I would love that. All right. So, and another thing, one last thing, racial effects. We've already built this really cool system where we have racial abilities that are very specific to the races, like Stoneborn. Maybe they're the ones who are immune to alcohol and actually get a better boost from it. Things like that. Those are things I'd like to actually explore in the future.
Okay, cool.
Cool. All right. So, I've got a couple more forums questions that I'd like to talk about real quick, and then we could just go right into your questions.
Okay.
Okay, so Kraken's Packing gave a pretty great example of how we use existing materials to create some new items, like a resolution potion with the same effect as the resolution miner. Is this viable? That kind of goes back into the whole, we're quite not ready to go create some combat-specific items, but that's not completely off the table. I do like the idea of having tiers, to our combat elements. Like, maybe we'll just create like a 5-minute potion that gives you a passive that's very similar to a really wanted discipline. All right.
So could you maybe get a passive for a different race than what you are? Through a potion?
Yeah, I don't see why that would be completely off the table. I don't want to say yes. I don't want to say no. Okay. But that's something we could totally explore. Awesome. Another thing. Sarathra asked, we can't, and this is paraphrasing, we can't stack potions. Will this change? It's a problem with our crafting system in general. Once you craft something, it creates a serial number. With that serial number, it means that it's exclusive to itself, so you can't stack it. The idea is to mitigate that is to just make more stacks of outcomes for the recipe. Does that kind of make sense to you?
Like you have a blueprint that says you can do this and it will have 5, it will,
Yeah, basically.
5 servings?
5 servings. Kind of like how we did with cooking. Like
okay, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of that is like you create a roasted pork, you get maybe 4 or 5 servings of those. Yeah.
So then what Blazin suggested about being able to have a number of charges on a potion
seems like a realistic actual functionality. So I will need to dig into that a little bit more. But
Croc wants to know if brewing over time could happen. Like you make a potion and it takes like a week, or it takes like 3 days.
Like you're fermenting for real? Yeah, that's actually something that I had on my radar to
Okay,
make.
cool.
So maybe we'll make a brewing stand. Maybe we'll make a separate alchemy table.
There you go, Croc.
Yeah.
So when are people going to see these alchemy things?
So we don't have a set date. That's a good actual question. A lot of this is in pre-production. A lot of it is testing. A lot of it is just actually finding those sweet spots where it goes. So that's why I didn't want to actually say, this is what we're going to do, this is what we're going to do, this is what we're going to do. I just wanted to give a quick overview on where we're going, what direction we are. And then hopefully we'll have a follow-up to this with actual in-game items that we can see, kind of explore, and, show off a little bit more.
So do you want them trying this primarily on test? Is that the best place for them to do it?
Yes, because they will have the ability to get all the materials they need for free.
Free materials.
Free
on
materials
test.
from our vendors.
Yes, and if you participate on the test server for 4 hours, doesn't have to be all at one time, just collectively through the month, then you'll get a special stone tankard, I think, is the one for April. Oh, and let me read this that Debbie Sue's holding up. Subscribe to our YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Facebook channels if you haven't already. We are Crowfall Game on YouTube and Twitch and Twitter and Facebook. I think in all 4 places it's Crowfall Game. If this is your first time watching this show, visit crowfall.com to learn more about the game. You want to read the last part?
And watch for more live streams like this where we offer an inside look into the game and the team making Crowfall.
The team. Thank you for being on the team.
Thank you for being on the team.
Look at that. The 2
Vals
vowels
squared.
Yeah, 2 vowels for the price of 1. What a bargain.